Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm Abel Perez.
I'm Stephanie Perez.
And we are the Married Loan Officers. That's right. And we are back for another show on a Friday.
On a Friday. Why is it Friday, husband?
Well, you see, I had a really bad hair day yesterday. The rain was tearing us up. And ultimately, we couldn't stop laughing because of it.
We could not pull
right?
ourselves together.
Yeah. So if you aren't following us on Instagram or Twitter, please follow us at the MLO Show and see the blooper that we created and posted. We did do an honest effort. We were on time, had the schedule going, and we attempted to film, and we couldn't get past the second minute.
So
we
we're
couldn't
here
get past the second
and
minute.
we are ready to start over. Okay, so the end of the year is coming up, and I think people are starting to think about their New Year's resolutions or maybe talk about them. And I was thinking that, if you're talking about your New Year's resolutions, thinking about them, is home ownership on your list? Is that something on your New Year's resolution, something you think that should be considered for this next year?
Yeah, and that's a good point, right? And now we can piggyback off that, right? And it's like, is it on the not on the list because they think it's unobtainable, not possible, or have they just not put enough thought into, hey, should we buy our own home, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, we've talked about home ownership and the foundation that it's created for our family, kind of the foundation that it's provided for our grandparents and the history of our families, right? And everything both coming from families of traditions, gatherings, things of that nature. It's always the house that brings everybody together,
home.
right? Or the home, right?
Yeah.
And so the people make that home, but ultimately that there's still a structure there, right?
Yeah.
And there's still a piece of property to be acquired. So yeah, you're right. New Year's is right around the corner. It's like new year, new me. How do I improve my health? How do I improve this? How do I improve that? What better way to improve your overall quality of life than to establish a piece of property that you can build that foundation with, build a home for your family, lifelong memories, and all the entire time, you're establishing equity and you're establishing that generational wealth, right?
Yes.
So home ownership could be a very beautiful thing, and it probably should be on the forefront of everybody's New Year resolution.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I do know that there are some people that might be hesitant right now because of interest rates. And you actually shared a video on TikTok and Instagram earlier today with a lot of good insight into why now is the time to buy. So can you share some of that with us?
Yeah, should I do the TikTok right now? No, I'm just kidding.
Well, no, please don't.
So yeah, now is the time to buy, and especially if you know that you've gone through the process of getting qualified. Which, by the way, if you haven't, it's a very simple process. Reach out to me; I can get you started. But if you've gone through the process, you've qualified, your budget, right, and you know that you need a place to live, then it's a perfect time to buy. But there's tens of thousands of people who are still sitting on the fence because they can't get over the interest rates, right? And yes, they have increased year over year dramatically, right? And yes, they have been leading to increased monthly payments. But with a fixed mortgage, you know that payment is going to stay there. And so you can lock in, and if you could make it work, move forward. And here's why. There's so many people that I'm hearing that say, I'm going to buy when rates go down. They have their pre-approval in their hand, and it's like, once rates go down, I'm going to buy. And they're almost whispering it, right? Like real conspicuous, like it's a secret. And it's like, hey, guess what? It's not a secret. Everybody's saying they're going to do that, right?
The same thing.
And back in 2019, 20, during the COVID eras, when rates were coming all the way down, we saw what people who were waiting for rates to come down, or people who were taking advantage of low rates, we saw what that did to the market, right? It jacked up the prices because demand was at an all-time high. Every listing had 20, 30, 40 offers within days, right? So if you are planning to buy a home and your plan is to wait for rates to come down, just know that you're going to be going up against a lot of people.
Yeah,
a lot of people are going to be going up against you, and it's very hard for your offer to stand out when there's 10, 20, 30 other offers. forget about asking for any type of incentive, forget about submitting a low ball offer. However, the reason, going back to the reason why I say today is a good time to buy, because there are a lot of buyers out of the market, right? There are listings that are staying on the market a lot longer than normal, and therefore people who are shopping and submitting offers and actively shopping homes, they're getting offers accepted at asking or lower. Right? They're the comfort of being able to just view the home, hey, we'll go see it on Saturday or Sunday. It's still available. Things
Yeah.
like that still exists. Seller credit, which is being leveraged to, finance or pay for, some of the great lender incentives that I can go into, or that I was piggybacking off of in that video. All of these things, right? People are saying, hey, I like that washer and dryer. Can you include it in the sale? Hey, I like that pool table. I've always wanted one. Can you include that in the sale? Or, hey, I don't like the way that looks. I need that painted if I'm going to buy this house.
Yeah.
And again, a year or two ago, the last couple of years, you say any of that stuff or ask for any of that, forget about it. You're
Yeah.
out, right?
Forget about it. Yeah.
Forget about it.
Next.
Yeah. Cue the old Italian mafia guy there. But yeah, forget about it. Seriously. Now you're going to get a better deal, right? Now, what about their interest rates? So, Abel, I don't want to pay, these high interest rates for 30 years.
Yeah. What are some solutions or some advice that you have for that?
I'm glad you asked, because I have plenty. No, so, we recognize that, right? As a bank, we recognize that that is a true concern. And it is a real concern, because the reality is, a higher interest rate does require you to pay more monthly payment, right? So it is real money that it's costing you. But the consensus across the market is that it's temporary, right? We know inflation's a huge problem in the U.S. economy. We know that the Federal Reserve is utilizing the increase of rates to fight inflation. And as inflation starts to improve, we're starting to see these rates come down. And the general consensus between all the economists and all the professionals is that here in 2023, we will see a dramatic decrease in interest rates, right? They will start to normalize. And that should bring a lot of comfort to individuals. So what we have is, what we're pushing a lot of is like our 3-2-1, 2-1, or even 1-0 buy downs. And that's where you have the ability to lower your rate for the first year or first year or 3 years, depending on what option you go with, right? So I'll give you an example. If you go with a 3-2-1 buy down, right? That means for year one, your interest rate is going to be 3% lower than whatever the market is at, right? So if the market today is at 6%, you're going to be at a 3% interest rate. Your payments will be based off a 3% interest rate on year one, months 1 through 12. On year two, it'll be 2% lower than that 6%, so 4%. Year three will be a 5% rate, and then year 4 through year 30 will be back at that 6% rate, right? Now, there is a cost to this, and which is why I mentioned that a lot of buyers today are leveraging the buyer's market environment out there, getting seller credit, leveraging that seller credit to pay for such incentives. And there is no fees. It's not a fee that the bank's charging, anything like that. It's simply a fee. You're simply paying for the interest up front, right? And so it makes more sense when you get that from the sellers, because they're paying for the difference in your interest rate during that time, right? So that's the 3-2-1. The 2-1 is a 2-year plan. The 1-0 is a 1-year plan that reduces your rate, incentivizing buyers to move forward, reap the benefits of a lower monthly payment because of the lower interest rate, and it really settles the nerves there, right? But Abel, what if rates drop in 6 months, right? What if they drop in 6 months and they're less than 6%, right? In that scenario, I would be stuck, for 30 years. You're never stuck. You always have the option to refinance, right? And our bank has actually implemented a rate rebound program, which is very unique out there. Any sports enthusiasts out there, you guys know what a rebound is, and this works the exact same way. It's an opportunity to refinance your loan when rates come back down, and it's like it costs money to refinance, doesn't it? Well, yes, there are costs involved with refinancing, but with our rate rebound program, you're going to get lender fees waived, you're going to get the appraisal fee waived, and you're going to get an additional $1,000 lender credit to be applied to any additional closing costs. That's almost a $3,800 value to go towards you getting your rate rebound. You taking advantage of buying today in a buyer's market with all the incentives and bells and whistles that come along with that. Lock in, and then as soon as you have the ability to refinance, you do. And there's very little demand that it pulls from you. So with all of that combining, that's why with confidence, we're able to advise our clients that now is the time to buy. Here's how we could help make it make sense. And if you choose not to, totally fine, but just expect to be in a totally different environment when rates do come down and you're going up against everybody else. It's just going to be a little bit harder. So that's my breakdown on that.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate your insight on that. I get to sit here and learn along with everybody else. Now, so there was a couple episodes ago when we had established some personal goals and some business goals.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And you had a kind of a call to action, right?
I
with
did.
some of your some of the newbies out
Some
there
of the
that you were calling
newbies,
out.
Yeah,
So,
it's no secret that I'm new to the industry, just passed my test, still in the approval process, but that doesn't mean that I can't go out there and meet people and start, creating new relationships and contacts. And this way, when everything's good to go, I hit the ground running. And that's what I had asked you guys all to do, all you newbies out there, just like me. And so I feel like I accomplished that over the last couple weeks. Yeah.
No, I really saw you interested in various conversations or different types of social events that we attended and really engaging. And I know
Instead of
that
just
you're
eating chips and salsa in the corner.
yeah, and I know that sometimes or in the past it's like, well, I'm not in the industry or I'm not part of that, so let me just kind of back off. But it's like very important to engage, right?
Yeah,
so I think
it is.
you've been doing a good job last couple weeks for sure.
Thank you. I appreciate that. My personal goal is in the works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was
just trying to get on some type of schedule or, better organized in the household but with the 3 kids and the craziness,
So you do
it's
very
pretty
good
tough.
at work, and this is probably the reality for most people, right? Man or woman. It's like we kick butt at work, right? We're super organized, we're responsive, all those things. We have these processes and Six Sigma and all these trainings to be more efficient at
Yeah.
work. And then we go home and we're like, how the heck do we get our 3-year-old to listen, right?
Yeah. How do we your kids have a bedtime? My kid's jumping on the couch and swinging from the ceiling until midnight.
So I commend you on the challenge that you've accepted to take care of that portion of it,
I
or
think it's-
implement something to be real organized. But
Yes,
it's not
we're
an easy
working on
task.
it.
For
We're
sure.
working on it.
Yeah,
We'll
for
get
sure.
there. And then what about you?
Well, my goals, yeah. So I talked about wanting, I do a great job of reaching out to people, and thanks to the magic cell phone, right?
Yeah.
The extra hand, the extra brain on our hands, we're able to just contact people immediately through text or social media or just a quick phone call. But I really wanted to take extra initiative to stop and say hello in person, right?
Mm-hmm.
And get that face-to-face interaction. And I feel like it's so important, especially these COVID years, man. It everybody was just on the other side of a screen. So it's been really important for me to do that. And so driving through town now, I'm a whole lot more conscious. You know what? I know who's in that building. I just text them, but let me stop by real quick. Let me pull over real quick, say hello, pop in. And it makes all the difference, and it's not so hey, how's it going? Loan Officer Abel Perez. It's way more hey man, what's going on? How are things going? And you get to
Yeah.
learn a little bit about them and get a little piece of their life. And you normally wouldn't get that, right? And I think that's the human interaction that we all kind of crave really and really need. So
Yeah.
I'm enjoying my goal because it's giving me that sensation of human interaction for sure.
Yeah. You have been doing a good job with that. And I do notice when you go in to meet with people, it's funny because we'll get into like the most random conversations about our lives.
Yeah.
And it's just, we're in there for, a little while, but it's, you have these hilarious conversations for like 10 minutes and then you're like, okay, see you later.
And the key is we're all going through pretty much the same stuff, right? We're all people. We all live in the same world. I would say our Starbucks costs the same amount, right?
Yeah.
And so we all feel the pinches at the gas station, all of those things, right? And so, it's really neat to be able to relate to people that way. So, and that's kind of what we're doing here on this show, the MLO show. We hope that you've enjoyed our interactions and our transparency with our day-to-day lives and, the things that we implement in our business and some of the strategies that I've established and the communication that I'm providing to our clientele. Share, like, subscribe. What else should they do?
And comment.
Yeah, we're like old souls, so we don't know all of all of
our
the
kids
terms.
are like, our kids are like, you have a YouTube channel, and then all of a sudden we were like super cool in their eyes. I was like,
yeah, maybe for a little bit. I don't know.
Cool.
Yeah. So anyway, we'd really like your support. So like, subscribe, share, comment, give us some feedback. But most importantly, the content that we posted today is real content. December 2nd here, 2022. This is what the market's doing. These are the options available to you. This is how we can help you. Reach out to me, your favorite loan officer. I'm Abel Perez.
I'm Stephanie Perez.
And we are the Married Loan Officers. You missed your cue.
What? Oh, we're supposed to say it together. Have a good weekend.
Hey, have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see you soon.